this is Rosa Kelly, and today I'm gonna share with you how I created this shaker pocket on the top. Now it is a very simple process, but I was requested to share with you how I did it since I didn't include this shaker pocket when I did the tutorial for this photo album. So all you're gonna need for that is some cardstock. Now I'm using a heavyweight cardstock, but you can use any kind of cardstock. And then you're gonna use some acetate. So now I'm just like, as you can see here, I'm going to recycle this package and I'm just gonna cut it out, which is exactly what I did here. I just recycle a different package. And then you are gonna need some sequins or shaker bits, whatever you use. And yeah, and I think, oh, and then you're gonna need some strong glue. So I'm using Fabri-Tac glue because of the plastic. You don't want to use your regular tacky glue because it won't work on the plastic. So I'm going to be doing the shaker for this image. Here is an Easter image, and it measures the same thing as the shaker that I have, as the image here. So this measures 4 by 3. If you're doing a different size, so all you want to do is just cut an inch bigger. So for example, this one measures 4 by 3. So I'm going to cut my cardstock at 5 by 4. Oops. Okay, so now I have a size like that, which is an inch bigger than my image, as you can see. So the next thing you want to do is I'm going to get the border for around the image. And if you have some dies that are borders, I mean, you could probably use that. But to simplify the process, all I'm gonna do is cut some stripes that measure 1/2 inch. So because these sides measure 5, I'm going to cut several pieces of 5 by 1/2 inch. And I believe I used about 4 for each side. So you're going to need 4 for this side and 4 for the other side. So that's basically all I did. Very simple like that. So here I have, okay, so I have 3, 4, and then for the other side I have 1. Let's see if this measures 5. No, I'm just using my scraps here. So this one don't measure 5 here. So then I'm gonna cut this one at 5. Okay, and then by 1/2 inch. So I need probably 3 more. So 1, 2, and 1 more. Now if you want to give it a little bit more volume, for, you know, if you're not using sequins, if you're using like the shaker bits and you need more volume, then you probably want to add more to your side. So these we're going to glue together, for example, and then you see how much volume here you have for your shaker, which I actually think 4 is not enough. So, and if you, that also depends if you're using a thick cardstock or, you know, a much thinner cardstock. So you want to give it a good, so here probably, I'm going to cut a couple more actually. So when I did that one, I didn't actually count it or anything like that. That's why I'm kind of just going with the flow here. So I'm going to do 2 more. And 2 more. So here we go. Oh, and then it is important to remember how many you're adding on each side so they're even. So for example, here I have 2, 4, and 6. Okay, so now these ones will be on this side, and then you still have to cut this side. So we know this measures 4, but I'm going to cut my stripes now at 3. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these ones at 3 by 1/2 inch, And then I'm also going to need 6 for each side. So I'm going to need 12. So that's 2, 3, and I'm just going to be right. Okay, so I'm done with all my cutting. So I have 6 of the 5" and 6 of, well, actually 12 of the 5" and 12 of the 3". And then all we're gonna do is just glue them together. Okay, so I'm grabbing my fabric tack here, and this is probably going to be the hardest part. Okay, so there is 1, and basically we're just gonna put them on top of each other like that, and so on. And we're gonna do the same for all of these. Okay, so I'm gonna have the 4 sides all glued together. So I'm done with the 2 sides. Now after you're done adding them together, make sure they're all even on the sides. So mine are a little bit uneven, so I'm just gonna go with my scissors and just make them look uniform. Okay, so then this one is fine, and now I'm just gonna do the same for the small ones. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is just add my image to the base here. So I'm gonna make sure it's centered, just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna add the sides that we just put together. So I'm gonna do 1 here, just like that. Then this one, and you want to make sure you add enough glue. You don't want to have like an opening in this. Now another thing that I want to tell you is that I am using sequins because sequins, they don't how do I say this, they're not very staticky. The sequins is not, but some, like when you buy your shakers, for example, I don't know what else is there. I used to use a different kind that was very staticky, and I didn't like it at all. It kept sticking to the top. So make sure whatever you're using is not staticky. Hope you know what I mean. Let me see if I have another one here, because if it is, then you have to go and get like the powder to avoid the static friction there. Otherwise your shaker is not going to shake, it's going to stay somewhere. I don't have it with me anyway, but yeah. So actually I noticed that this one, it's a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna trim it a little bit here and make sure that it fits. So I'm gonna trim this one as well for the other side. Maybe I should have make sure that it fits before. So here we go. Okay, so that one fits, and then I'm just gonna finish up with this other side. Oops. Okay, and then we're gonna grab a little sequins and just add it here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of pink and maybe a little bit of, I'm just gonna stick with the pinks here, maybe a little bit of yellow. Well, I have some green here, I don't have yellow. Okay, so I'm just gonna add probably that much because I don't want to cover the image. All right, so then the last thing we're gonna do, well, not the last thing, but the next thing we're gonna do is grab our packaging. So now mine is still pretty square, so I'm just gonna cut it, and this is probably the hardest part. So every time that we buy something, like I think this one came from like a planner or something, but like kids' toy, everything that comes with acetate, I always save it for occasions like this that I want to do some kind of shaker. Okay, so now I have it on a flat form, and we are going to cut that one, and I'm going to actually use my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut it at the same size that I cut the base, which was 5 by 4. Okay, let me cut this part here. Okay, so I'm gonna try to find like a straight edge, or actually I'm just gonna make a straight edge here. Okay, this one was a little bit hard, and just cut a 5 by 4. Okay, so this one's very thick, but I think we got it. So this measures 5, and now I'm gonna cut this by 4. And maybe actually you want to make it a little bit smaller, but let's see. So first we make sure that it fits, and because it's kind of sticking out, I'm gonna cut it just a little bit smaller. Okay, so that one's okay, and then just a little bit smaller on this side. Okay, like that. Perfect. You don't want the acetate sticking out anywhere. It's actually better if it's a little bit smaller. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is just add my glue all around here. Now on this part, you don't want to add too much glue, okay? Because you don't want your glue going into your pocket. So just to spread an even amount, like that. And then all we do is put this right on the top here. And I'm just gonna let that dry, and I'm not gonna move it or shake it or anything. Just give it a couple minutes, and then all I'm gonna do is just cover the edge. You can either use some lace, some trims. Like here I was using this very pretty shiny trim, but for this one, because it's more, you know, vintage looking, I'm going to be using this flower applique that I have, and I just have little pieces like that, but I think I have enough to go around. So I'm gonna add again a layer of my fabric tack, and then just add them like this, because all you want to do is kind of cover that, you know, the border, right, and make it pretty. So then I'm just gonna put this right there, and like that, and like that. And then I'm gonna add some more over here. And I just thought these flowers were really pretty. I actually just found that on my stash. Okay, so lastly those two, and these two. And of course we're gonna let it dry for a little bit, but we are pretty much done with our little shaker. How cute, and so very easy and so simple. You don't need any die cutting machine or anything to make a cute shaker for your albums. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick tutorial, and I hope that you checked out my tutorial for my folio album, and I invite you to try this, and now you know how to make the shaker for the front cover as well. So I hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.